Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Nightcrawler. Overall, I'd say the trailers give away a little bit of what this movie's actually about, but I entered the theater still pretty unsure of what it was I was about to witness. Well, I'm super glad I didn't know what this movie was about because it blew my mind. I loved Nightcrawler. So let's just jump right in and discuss what this film gets right. What it really gets right is Jake Gyllenhaal's performance. He is amazing in this lead role. He suits this weird, creepy, kind of terrible person very, very well. He completely convinced you, he creeped you out, grossed you out, freaked you out right from the minute the camera rolled. And the genius about the character was his kind of juxtaposition in his own mind, actually, against being smart and driven and a good individual and then being a terrible individual. And he did that switch really well. He did the switch really well early on for the audience so that you weren't really sure where we were going to go. Do we feel sorry for him? Do we hate him? Do we love him? We don't know. And I just thought his performance was really nuanced and then really aggressive all at once. And it was just really fun to watch Jake Gyllenhaal in this role. His physical transformation was definitely noticed, but I'm not sure it was warranted though. So I don't know why he had to be that thin to really pull off this role. I don't think it was all that necessary. To me, the losing of the weight was very much Oscar bait, nominate me for Best Actor, and I just, kind of as a turnout for me thinking of it that way. I guess it added to the creepiness of his role, but there are definitely like bulky, creepy people as well, so I don't know. I guess it added to the overall look in the film, and yay, Jake Gyllenhaal, you can drop some pounds, but overall, it's the acting that really matters, and his acting was fantastic. And really, I thought the entire cast did well. There are not really all that many other known actors other than Bill Paxton running around, and he was good as well, but the entire cast really delivered overall. So if you've watched my other reviews, like Maleficent, you'll know I've been begging for a movie that focuses on a villain and doesn't hero them up by the end of the film and make you turn to see them as the hero of their story. This is that movie. It doesn't focus on an actual villain, but it definitely focuses on a villain against society. A very, very bad, not likable person. And yet somehow we all in that theater still seem to love the movie. So it can be done. You can focus on someone who's not good and still create a movie that people enjoy and are invested in. Of course, you're not really rooting for that main character, but it still is so interesting and so compelling to go along on the ride with this person and just see what it is they're doing and kind of get into the insight of what goes through their mind as they're doing all these deeds. That is just so interesting. And this had a very dark tone to go along with that super dark and kind of grainy looking palette that it had. It just kept you on the edge of your seat the entire film. It is very action-packed. It is very forward-driving. It hooks you in from the start and keeps you hooked into that end credits roll. It's a very interesting film, and it never is uninteresting. And I think that is a huge compliment to a kind of character study that Nightcrawler really is at its core. I also really love the social commentary on media that's thrown into this film. It shows how sensationalized our media is and has become, including our news system that is supposed to deliver facts and true stories about what's going on in our communities, and instead they kind of skew toward a certain demographic of story, and they really shape how people see the world and what viewers want to see, what drives ratings, and what drives some people to do the crazy things that they do, and how the media is contributing to, terrible acts. And I thought that was a very sophisticated message thrown in there. It wasn't done maybe nuanced. It was pretty evident, the message that was going on, but it was weaved into the story so fantastically. And it really got the message across without, beating it over the head, and it was a good message to have coming from the media, and I loved how it was delivered. So, if I loved the movie so much, what did it not do so well? Well, for starters, when you do focus on a villain-like character, there is always going to be that fine line on the message of the film. And I think this movie ends up coming away giving off an overall bad message to viewers. Do not take your kids to this, period. Even if the message was a positive one, I would never recommend children to see this movie. It's just too graphic. It's too much of adult content. They don't need to see this. But overall, the message is basically to be ruthless and do whatever it takes to get ahead. And that's not really a good message. Could be. The movie starts off like, oh, okay, this is going to be a good message. No. I mean, it's not a message movie at all, and the message is really the weakest point of the film outside of that social commentary that's also weaved in. So that was a definite negative. And other than that, really, I just think it maybe started a little bit slow, and I think the slow start was necessary so that we could get a different view of the character and be introduced to him in a kind of misleading way. But it did start slow, and you're like, oh, okay, what am I getting myself in for? But once it kicks in, and then you're invested and you're in it. Overall, this movie really didn't have any negatives for me. I loved it. So, guess what? I definitely recommend this movie. Go see it. We're still around Halloween time. I'm not sure if it's a Thanksgiving or Christmas movie, so get out there and see it soon, because it's definitely worth the watch. Matinee, you gotta see this at night. It's not as fun if you see a movie called Nightcrawler in the middle of the day. So, full price, the latest showing at your local theater, and it will not disappoint you. I loved it. That has been my review of Nightcrawler. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel while you're at it so you're always up to date on our latest videos. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!